Welcome back to Squadding Quads, and I was out flying the GEPRC Darkstar16 after we'd done the review, just for a little bit of fun, and it reminded me that I'd not done a crash test, and the reason it reminded me I'd not done a crash test is because I accidentally crashed it. However, an important point came out of that, and that is, first of all, how well does it crash, but also, if something does go wrong, spoiler alert, it has. How do you fix it? How easy is this to work on? So I figured we'll do another video of it just to show you guys just how easy this is to work on, what the problem is, how you know the problem has arisen, and of course, how you deal with it. Settle down, next 5-10 minutes, grab yourself some popcorn, let's freaking go. As you can see, we started off doing some relatively heavy freestyle for such a small drone, and it was handling it really, really well. And then as we can see, on the last maneuver, unfortunately, my confidence exuded the level of my skill and I crashed. And it went into this bush, and obviously in this bush, it's caught one of the thorns on one of the branches. I'm not a nature guy, sorry. And what it's done is it's caused us a problem, because if we now go to the next flight after I'd recovered the drone, you can see I'm getting this message on my screen. This is from my goggles view, by the way, and it says RX loss. Now, I was experiencing no loss of control on it at all. So what this was something called a micro failsafe. And a micro failsafe is essentially what it sounds like. It's a failsafe that happens for a microsecond and you regain control. And as you could see, it happened quite a few times. And what that was telling me, experience I've got behind me, I knew that the antenna had come off. But if you're seeing that, it means you've got a problem with your ELRS or Crossfire or whatever it is, receiver inside this drone. Now, I'm going to take the top off the drone, not me, obviously. And we'll have a look underneath. I've had a look at the side and I can see the problem. But let's do it together so that you guys can see it. You know how to diagnose it, and then obviously you know how to fix it. And again, as I alluded to on the review, this drone is really easy to work on because literally we just do that. Now, can you see it from there? If I get a pointy thing, yeah. So this is the ELRS wire here. This is the UFL connector, but that's the UFL port. So it's actually just come off there. And I can also show you how to make this better so that this doesn't necessarily happen again in the future as well. But what we need to do first of all, we've diagnosed what the problem is now. So the problem is, the reason why we're getting those micro failsafes, those RX losses, is because the antenna's come off the antenna port. The reason why you will stop flying as quick as you can, and I did once it started to happen, once I realised it was happening a few times, is without that antenna, you run the risk of overheating and causing damage to the components. So make sure you've always got an antenna on. So let's deal with this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop the cable out for the 04 so that we've then got all this to work on here. Now, it does look, let me have a quick look at this. So once you've reseated that onto here, and it is just a case of just pushing it in, and it'll click in. My advice then would be to get some E6000, and I'm just looking for mine now because I've got some from my TBS last week. Some E6000 glue, and glue that antenna down because it is on the edge of the board and it is likely to get caught again. Now, you can just pop it back on, or you can glue it on, and then at least you don't have to worry about it popping off and ruining your flight. I'm just looking for some Q-tips or things, of which I have none in this room. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab a little bit onto the end of a screwdriver and then go and wash the screwdriver off, just so we've got a little bit of control where it goes. We just essentially just want to cover it. Without too much excess. That looks about right. that will just help stop it ejecting again in the future in any other crashes that you have. Because let's be fair, we have crashes. It's a part of the hobby. I did put a post up last week. People got a little bit upset, but if you're not crashing, you're not learning. I was doing some new tricks that I've never done before in an area that I've never flown before, so it is what it is. We'll leave that to dry, and then it's just a case of, obviously, if you've unplugged the 04 Pro like I have, plugging it back in and just popping this back onto the grommets and then putting the 04 and the ELRS antenna just through these holes here, and that's it. It's as easy as that. The GEPRC Darkstar16 is an incredibly visible drone with its bright orange canopy. But what would make it an even more visible drone is LEDs. We've got some fly-high FPV LEDs here, some of the brightest LEDs going, and we've got them all pre-soldered up, ready to go, and we're going to find a 5-volt pad because these are 5-volt LEDs. We're going to get them soldered in, so let's have a look. So we can actually see here that this pad is a ground and this pad is a 5-volt, and that's all we need. We don't need anything else to do these LEDs, so let's get on with it. And that should be it. Should be as simple as that. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to look for my smoke stopper, and I'm just going to try it to power it on with a smoke stopper, just to be on the safe side, just to make sure I've not bridged any of those tiny little pads. It's not the easiest flight controller to work on because it is quite small, but all of the flight controllers of this size are a little bit more tricky than larger ones. But there we go. It's working. So the next job, ignore it going darker, this battery's pretty much dead. The next job then is going to be to get it all put together. So first of all, safety first, let's turn off the soldering iron and move it out of the way. And I think realistically, the best way to do this is going to be if we go under and through here. I have left a longer wire just so that we can, obviously we're well underneath the 249 gram limit. So now it's just a case of making sure we've got enough wire in here to get past the props, which if we do it this way, so I'll go under there. So if we then pull off this sticky pad here and then pull this through like that. And then if we So I've received this comment asking how long it will take to transfer an 04 Pro from one drone to this particular GEPRC Darkstar16. So I figured the easiest way to answer such a question, well, is to show you. So we've got the screws for the camera here, we've got the screws for the 04 here, and we've got this obviously all separated apart, and we've got the drone apart. So let's see how long it takes us to put it all back together again then. So the first thing you need to do is line up the outside screws. So that is there, and then we're just going to gently screw that in. We've then got one over here on the diagonal, and we're going to gently screw that one in. And then we are going to get another one. No, another one. Okay, so once all four are in, my advice is then just tighten them up. You don't want them over tightened, but you don't want them loose like this one. So just when it sort of starts to bite, and then just a little bit more. Okay, so then my advice to you is this. Grab the antennas. So just go over the top like that. So put the wire through and then over the top, and then just push it down from the top like that. Simple as that. And then the next and final job is to do our camera. And if you ever put your camera in the wrong way around with an 04 Pro or even an 03. The easiest way to know is you need these numbers the right way up when the drone's the right way up. So this is going to be the right way. Now we do have this extra step. We have this extra little camera protector. So that goes on the top. If we grab a screw for the bottom, first of all, and there is, let me just show you very quickly. There is a nuance difference in how big those screws are. You can just about, should just be able to see it. I mean, it's minuscule, but it will make all the difference when you try and put the top on, because the top camera holes does have the extra camera protector on it, doesn't it? So grab one of your longer ones, and you're going to want to go through this hole first. And then it's just a case of looking at your camera and then lining it up where you want it. And this will just pop over the top. Like so. And then where have we got the screw hole? It's at the back, isn't it? Okay, and now I don't have my ELRS antenna attached, but ultimately that is how quick you can switch your 04 Pro. It's just a case then of sliding it back onto these grommets here. Just pinch them in and just slide it through once you've pinched it in like that. So it's just, I think it was an important thing to show you that first of all, it crashes very, very well. But also secondly, it repairs very, very well as well. It is literally just a loose connector that's happened. And these things happen. And again, the great thing with this is just how easy it is to take it all apart, to work on it, to then put it back together. Really, really good job, GEPRC. So just to summarize then, in this video, we've shown you, first of all, how it freestyles a little bit heavier, how it can survive a crash, and how to make an improvement just in case your antenna does come off, and also how to improve the visibility by adding these LED lights, which literally took us 2 seconds, didn't it? And that's it, it's done. Got any questions whatsoever, please do drop them in the comments down below. I know there's been a lot of GEPRC Darkstar16 content recently. The reason for that is because I actually really, really enjoyed this drone. Any questions whatsoever, drop them in the comments down below. Let's turn the light back on. Still pretty bright, isn't it? Peace out, everybody.